move towards all-electric cars. Jean-Claude, who is the president of the International Automobile Federation, also plans to roll out electric cars, go-karts, and other single-speed events. What he wants to do is start from the bottom up. He wants to work from an amateur level, build the support, build the culture, and move all the way up to the professional level. He wants new categories, new classes, new energy from these amateur races. So where will these amateur racers come from is the SCCA, which is the Sports Car Club of America. This is the largest club that we have in America. It's the most prevalent. Now inside this club, there's a movement towards spec-type racing. What that is a defined car that you basically get in and drive. Drivers want to win on their skill. They don't want to be beaten by some rich kid down the block. They want fun, cheap, and fast cars that they can get in. Right now, the top 3 regions of interest in the hybrid and alternative fuel spectrum are in the Northeast due to its loyal racing fans. Texas, they built a brand new racetrack and there's a large potential market. Plus there's a lot of people in Texas. And finally, the Southwest. The population is growing and it's also seen as green or responsible. Currently, there are a few green Grand Prix sort of expos or show-off sessions where they have alternative fuel cars come and race. It's not a very serious event, but there's a lot of excitement and support behind this. So basically, we're using all these pressures. One from Formula 1 for all the electric cars, the SCCA supplying the amateur racers that want to build these or drive these economical cars, and finally from exposure of driver schools and expos, a hybrid spec class could be created and would be created to fulfill these demands. Our car has a competitive advantage. We are one of the few cars in the entire competition which is a serious drivetrain. That basically means that the only motor touching the car is an electric. We have a small generator providing a little bit of extra charge. This gives us upgradable abilities. As battery technology evolves, which it will, we can upgrade our car much easier than a petrol. Also, we have a lightweight chassis, which is so much better when you're carting around a car. And we have a fun thing called the push-to-pass button, which is a boost for overtaking.
Now, EV Revo is very economical to run. There's extended tire life because if you look at the car face on, they're tilted at negative 22 degrees inward. Their extreme negative camber angle allows them to be run once, and then you flip them over, and you basically get a second life in your tires, which decreases cost. We also use less fuel because of our series drivetrain, and when you go to the tracks on the weekend, your basic Ford spec car might cost you $180, and you bring our car, it's going to cost you $45. And this summer, gas prices are supposed to hit $6 a gallon. You're going to save a lot of money, upwards of $300. Marketing. So we have a very broad range, ages 1955, mostly male. We want to hit our traditional marketing techniques by using radio ads in the top 10 SCCA regions, and also using magazines, because the older market, they like to have a tangible, readable material where they can get their advertisements from. Now, this is different from hitting our younger audience with things such as Facebook and Twitter to engage them and create an environment in which they can interact and chat about hybrid racing. Just start forming that buzz that we need to get to form our hybrid racing class. And we'll also use Google AdWords, which is when you type in something on Google, you may notice that an ad pops up for something you've looked at recently. This is just an advertising technique used by Google. With that said, we will now go to expos and sell our car to avid users and continue going to driving schools, getting people in our car, driving our car, wanting a hybrid to form the hybrid racing class that's our top goal.
Okay, so we've shown you guys that we have a cool car and there's a group of people that want to buy it. Now we're going to talk about, the part that actually interests you guys the most. How you stand to make money off of an investment in Hybrida. So what we've done is a 5-year projection of our finances. If you look up here, this is cost versus time. They're itemized as fixed direct labor, indirect labor, and material costs. You'll notice that material cost dominates. And if you look at, those are sum figures for the end of 5 years, you'll see that it's a factor of 10 greater. And what this means for you guys as our investors is that money you're putting into the company primarily is going towards assets, in particular liquid assets. So if anything ever did happen, the majority of your money would still be, in our inventory because we're built to order just-in-time production. right here is a model of our revenue versus time. And you'll notice the unique shape. It's stepwise. That's because we built, it's basically a combination of our production schedule, which is stepwise, and multiplied by a factor of our selling price, which we determined to be $24,000. The $24,000 is based off of our average cost per car that was derived from this. During that 5 years, the average car would cost about $14,000 to produce. So if we sell it at $24,000, that's about a 75% increase. Now for a manufacturing company, a 75% markup isn't that great. However, we also had to think about our competition. As it is now, the closest spec class is Formula Ford, and that's about mid-range for how much you're looking to pay to get into that class. So it presents hybrid as a viable alternative. Okay, so to sum it all up, we need to ask you today for an investment on the scale of about $2.6 million. Now, this is a pretty high initial investment, but it covers our costs completely as projected for the first 3 years. If you take a look at this break even, it's your initial investment right here with the cumulative revenue. So you break even at about 24 months or 2 years. And then after that, as you can see, the profits kind of tail up and your profit margin opens up quickly. So I wanted to keep the options open to you guys with how you can invest in Hybrido. So there's 3 primary ways. First of all, with your investment, you can get an ownership stake in the company. So you'd own 1% of the company and you'd have 1% of the profit. Another option would be your investment plus 1% of the profit after either 3 or 5 years. And then a final one would be your investment plus set interest rate after 3 or 5 years. There's advantages and cons to all of these. We can talk about that later, or I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so we put together these numbers to figure out what we need to be at in order to make Hybrido profitable and really make it worth your while and your risk to invest. After that, we thought about how are we actually going to for sure meet these numbers, or hopefully surpass them. So we looked at our manufacturing process. At only a maximum production of 15 per month, we are a low volume manufacturing facility. You know, we do not do batch production, but regardless, we still like to implement some lean techniques, especially since our profit margin is so small in the beginning and it's negative. Really the best bang for your buck is cutting costs to get back into the positive. So we would use techniques such as total quality management, Six Sigma training, and just-in-time production.
So on a more technical level, most of our assembly will be done in-house. One of the only things that would be outsourcing is welding a chassis. Welding traditionally, especially at the specialty level with fixtures, takes a long time return on the interest. It would be more economical and with our agile type business plan to outsource the welding. Finally, we did use DFA, which is designed for assembly, and we use very, very common parts. This gives us an extremely flexible supply chain. Lots of vendors supply all these same parts. If for any reason our demand was much greater than we expected, we're able, with our production facilities and our flexible supply chain, to meet that demand and give people the car that they want to drive.
Alright, so as you can see, there is a demand for a hybrid spec class, or something new, something green. There's also our car, the Hybrido, which answers this call. I've also shown you, or we have also shown you, that your investment will pay off and you stand to make a lot of money. However, in our eyes, Hybrido is not just about the bottom line for you guys. It's not just about money. It represents a lot more. You know, across all industries, there's a need to spread the message of green. And we truly feel that Hybrido can function as a flagship for spreading HEV, hybrid electric vehicle technologies, to markets traditionally not receptive to it. Any questions?